Hi, hey, and all those other greetings, Bit Adventurers. I'm Jake Spins, welcoming you guys back to my gaming and unboxing channel, where today we have a pretty fun unboxing for you guys, which I'm pretty excited for. And yes, it is a product of I had a rough day, and it was such a rough day that I ended up going to the break room and instantly went onto Amazon, and just like the Twitter memes of the smash, retweet, and like button, I smashed my hand as hard as I could on the one-click buy button, which is a glorious invention, but a very dangerous invention. It's like the red button. You're not supposed to press it, but you do it anyway. But anyway, though, I'm pretty excited for this unboxing, and I'm going to tell you why. Because recently I've realized, well, I'm a collector. I'm a fan of many series. That's not what I realized. But I'm a fan of Sonic, and I've collected a huge amount of Sonic stuff. On this wall alone, there is probably more Sonic stuff than some people would want to admit. But me, myself, and I are very proud of that. And of course, you do see the Pokemon Village, and next to that is some more Nintendo Plush. But the one thing is that despite me being a super fan of both Sonic and Mario, and despite collecting a lot of both series, for some reason, I never really got that many Mario plush or Nintendo plush. And it's kind of weird because I consistently looked at them. And sure, a lot of my childhood plush do stem down to the Mario plush, and then later on I got more into the Sonic plush collecting. But I've decided, you know what, it's time to show some more love to some Nintendo series, because that's what I want to do, and I'll still collect Sonic stuff, but we need more Nintendo, we need more Mario, and that is what we are going to be doing today. And interestingly enough, this isn't a prominent Mario character, per se, but a Mario enemy. And the thing is with Mario is that, unlike other series, with the enemies, Mario is very proud of its enemies, and it has a plush, an official plush, of basically any enemy that you could want. Think of a random enemy right now, type it down in the comments, I bet you that has a plush of it. And if you say, but Dry Bowser doesn't, well, he's getting an official plush very soon. So it's very hard to, say there's not merch of any of that. But anyway, though, let's get into what this is, which I actually want to show you guys the box here, because I want you guys to be questioning for a second, but you won't be, because the title tells you what it is. And I did not fully open this. My apologies. But what we have today is Wiggler. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of glad he is a little bit smaller than I was expecting, because I expected him to be pretty big, and I was like, where am I going to put him? But now that I have him in my hands, I'm like, okay, I'm sure I can have a good spot for him. So Wiggler himself was first introduced inside of Super Mario World, being in Illusion Forest 1, as well as another stage, I guess. I Googled it. Power of Google. And this was in 1990. So this guy, this caterpillar, he is quite old. And what makes Wiggler very interesting is actually multiple things. Now, if you don't know a lot about Wiggler, the basics are that he's just a pacifist type of enemy who just kind of walks around minding his own business. And then when Mario decides to step on his dinner, just completely smudge his dirty frickin' shoes all over this caterpillar's pasta, and then stomp directly on his head, he's not happy. He loses that bright, cheery smile and that flower on his head, and he goes from pacifist Undertale run to genocide Undertale run, and he gets all red, and he will chase after you until the day that you die. Rumor has it that Mario is still being chased by the first Wiggler after this many years, and that Wiggler has not stopped trying to find him. I know, it's pretty insane. But what also makes Wiggler an interesting enemy is the fact that categorizing him as an enemy in and of itself is kind of weird. Because while he debuted as an enemy, a lot of other enemies have bosses of them. Of course, you have the Bob-omb being King Bomb, Goomba, King Goomba, Boo, King Boo, Blooper, Gooper Blooper, Wiggler. That's right, for some weird reason, despite being just a standard regular enemy, usually what this character has is a lot of boss potential. And this started in Mario 64, I believe, where you have this giant angry Wiggler, and he's chasing after you. Well, he's pretty happy, and then Mario again stomps on his pasta, and this time I think uses his butt, but I don't really know. I also don't know if his butt was the one to go in the pasta first. It's a little complicated, but essentially the Wiggler ended up eating a power star or guarding a power star or something like that. You beat the Wiggler, and then you get the star, and the Wiggler just shrinks down to this tiny little microscopic thing and goes down a little vent that's in a tree. I haven't played that much Mario 64, but from what I understand, that's what happens, because I've kind of seen it, but yeah, I really need to play that game. But it doesn't just stop in 64. If you jump over to Sunshine, you also have a Wiggler type of boss. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the only time in the Mario series where Wiggler is depicted very differently as a boss, being green, yet I don't know if they really name him by Wiggler or just call him Caterpillar or something with the sandbird. But essentially, you just have to flip him over with sandcastles and stomp him. I did a Sunshine stream. If you guys want a refresher, definitely check that out. Yes, I did just wink for a Sunshine stream. But, yeah, after this appearance, we do have more things of Wiggler. Of course, Yoshi can eat him, and he can drive a car. Yeah, despite having a bunch of feet, they give him some hands to drive a car in. Eventually, he kind of is shown as this, like, upright type of thing with hands. He plays baseball, and, yeah, he's one of those enemies where they kind of just shove into certain things, but it, honest to God, works. And the interesting thing is, too, you have Flutter, who is the butterfly version of Wiggler, who gives you stars and such in Mario Party. So it just makes it very interesting. If that makes sense, I don't really know how to categorize him, because he's just a very different enemy. If you understand what I'm saying, like, he's both an enemy and a boss. And I know that a lot of Mario characters, you can be like, well, Goomba's playable in Mario Party, so does that mean he's not an enemy? No, that doesn't mean that. It's just me saying that it's interesting that there's no other variety of Wiggler as a boss, considering Sunshine literally made a Piranha Plant version of a boss, being Petey Piranha, who is a completely separate thing. Gooper Blooper, completely separate thing. King Boo, completely separate thing, except that King Boo also got a renovation from Luigi's Mansion, and then a renovation for other stuff. So there's actually 3 different King Boos, but we're talking about Wiggler, so I don't know why I'm talking about King Boo. But anyway, though, guys, let's not take any more time going through each section of Wiggler, so that we can actually go through each section of Wiggler. He also has a garden in Mario Party DS. Alright, let's open this guy up. So, they actually gave him an air hole. Or is that for just his flower? I'm not really sure. But, here we go, guys. That's all I remember of the song. Sorry. Anyway, though, here is Wiggler himself. So first things first, I do want to mention, for some reason, they have this little hook for him, I guess, to put on store shelves. It would have probably been better to be in the middle, but I guess I'm putting it on a store shelf. It would fit better there, of course, because it's part of the plush. I'm keeping it on there as much as it drives me nuts. But the plush itself is really, really cool. Of course, Wiggler has his different sections, having these tiny little feet that, again, he's been shown with hands before, but this one is not standing up, so this is just an enemy Wiggler and not a more Mario Party, Mario Kart type of friendly Wiggler, I guess? Essentially, this Wiggler does not play baseball. So I guess there's two separate types of Wiggler. I'm thinking too much about this. But anyway, though, for Wiggler, of course, his design is very simple, but his feet show with his orange legs right there, which kind of look like socks in a way. It also kind of looks like a orange Yoshi leg, which is kind of funny. He's also got his hot pink shoes because, as you know, the enemy trend is that you gotta have hot pink shoes. Not all enemies follow that because not all enemies are trendy. This Wiggler knows. But he's got the brown soles on the bottom to make sure that he's, you know, not getting them dirty on his always forest appearance runs. He's always in forest. Going to the main body itself, of course, you've got his gumball type of body to where you've got these spots, which these spots have been shown to be multiple things. Usually I remember them being more of like a reddish type of thing, but I believe this is based on the version from New Super Mario Brothers, the New Super Mario Brothers series. So instead, we actually have these circles where it is brown and then an orange circle inside of that, which you have a few on here. And they actually differentiate, which is kind of interesting because you have one on this side and two on this side. And it looks like it only goes from 1 and 2 spots, but it is pretty close to the art, except for the fact that they don't have it where the stitching is, probably because that would be kind of a hard thing to do. So what I'm assuming is that they just made this very simple pattern and then they stitched it together, which, again, this is mass-produced, so it, honest to God, makes the most sense to do it. That being said, though, this side of the Wiggler looks pretty cool. I like how there's the difference of the 2 spots here, but this side looks kind of jumbled. I feel like maybe one of them should have just stayed as a 1 spot, because having that, it just looks kind of clustered unless you have them further apart. Especially for this one, it just doesn't look right. It kind of looks like a myth type of creature that you would see inside of Mario. Or it looks like a Choo-Choo from Zelda. There you go, that's what it kind of looks like. But of course, the torso part of the Wiggler is not the most important part. And you might be saying, that's most of the plush. So isn't it? But actually, what I care about is this face right here. I shouldn't have done that. I didn't mean to bonk him. Oh no, I did. Oh no, I destroyed the camera. Oh no. It's okay. I think I got it semi back to where it was. But anyway though, on his really cute face, you have quite a few features that are there to just make it even more adorable. Of course, you have his very puffy cheeks in a very Kirby jump type of style, which just make his smile even more precious and even more cute. Grandmas would walk up to a Wiggler and just pinch his cheeks. He's got that type of face. Of course, though, it's not all about the smile as well as the puffy cheeks. What also makes Wiggler so adorable, just in general as a character and on this plush, is his eyes. They are cute, they are pure, they are innocent, they have not seen violence until Mario Y. And of course, you have his very iconic sniffer. Clearly the most iconic thing on Wiggler. But the cherry on top with a character like Wiggler is that, sure, his design is very simple. He's a very complex character, but what makes it even better and just has that Mario aesthetic on it is the flower. Now, personally, I have not really seen any flowers on plush because I do not have any Pikmin plush, and there just aren't a lot of video game characters with flowers on their head. I know, that's a shocker. But I do have to say, despite this, I feel like it could be similarly, it could be kind of equated to the whole idea of the flames that I talk about. Because there's a lot of ways to do the flames, and they could have done this flower very simple. But instead of just putting thin strips of felt as the petals, and like they did with the leaves, which work, they actually put these very soft, very hollow type of petals, which look very good because they also have these tiny little divots. And honestly, I don't know how in the world they did this. It's got to be some kind of stitching technique, but I'm telling you, I am very impressed by that because I just don't know how you would do that. Of course, as well, you do have the tiny little nectar circle, whatever that is called. I'm sure I'll put in an edit being like the spins. And then, of course, you have the stem, which comes down to the most impressive part other than the petals, which is the leaves. And the reason why I'm saying this is because they did this nice curve technique, which is why this type of flat look works very well, because it's not just a thin piece of fabric from the way they did it. It's actually just, it has technique to it. It has personality to it. You know, it's curved, and I think that's really cool because they essentially pinched it and then they stitched it onto the stem, which is not hollow, which is probably a very good move. Now, the thing is, I believe that this is a collector plush in and of itself. If you are trying to look for this, if you see this plush and you think, maybe my younger cousin would like this, my younger brother, my son, to play with, I don't really know, depending on what you would want to do with it. Of course, if you want to be like for the Mario games and you just want to go do 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 type of thing, then it works. However, this is a character that in general does not have a lot of moving parts or limbs on it and could be very flimsy. It is very clearly on the collector side part, in my opinion, just because of that, but it could be used for play. And I do mention this only because I am a family-friendly channel, and I don't get asked that often, but I do always like to mention that just because, you know, there's a lot of ways that you can use a plush. Me personally, I just am at the stage of my life that I just like looking at them. And honestly, how could you not like looking at this? Seriously, this was the second image on Amazon, and the second I got to that image, I said I am finally going to buy this. Now, if you have been watching my streams recently, the last few, I'm sure you've heard me say, should I do a Wiggler unboxing? I really want to do a Wiggler unboxing just because I want the Wiggler. So let me know, how did I do in the comment section down below? I'm pretty happy with this, and I hope you guys are too. And this is a pretty well-designed enemy. It's got some good personality as well. Let me know if there's any specific enemies that you would like to see, because there's a lot of them, and there are a lot that I need to get and a lot that I would like to get. But anyway, though, guys, that's going to end it off for this video. So hit that like button. Show us out with everybody know and love. Brother, mother, sister, father, iguana. I hope to see you guys next time. Keep your toes safe. Do 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 do. I know it's hard to make Wiggler menacing when he's this cute. You know what I'm wondering though? I'm now wondering if they've ever made an angry Wiggler plush. Like, if Little Buddy hasn't done that, that would be such a good recoloring. And I feel like a decent amount of people would actually go out to buy that. Personally, I think it would be really cool because you've got the cuteness from this Wiggler, and then you've got the angry aggression from that other one. Please, Little Buddy Sine, do that. I bet you it would be worth it. Alright, guys. Bye.